with that, other things that we didn't cover today that you guys want to use the opportunity to talk about. And it doesn't have to be insurance related or liability related. We've had speakers on how to find volunteers, how to manage volunteers and things like that. So certainly let's use the time to share information.
Would you feel like, I know a few years ago you sent out, with the signs and especially in the Derby, would you be able to resend some of those signs out to just make sure we're up to par on what signs we should have made and displayed at the fair so we're good?
Sure. Yeah, we can send out, the equine one is very specific, and as far as other just...
and I think wasn't there a photo one that last year, the year before, the state fair, I guess that maybe we should, by coming on these premises, you may photograph, and we can use it on our website, things like that.
That might kind of come from the state fair association, but those are good things to do if you are doing that. The other thing I think you got to watch out for more and more when you mention photographs and people being in photographs is people coming to your fair and flying their drones around at the fair to get video of, hey, I want to get a cool video of my booth at the fair. And there are restrictions about flying drones over people. So it's just another thing to keep your eye open for and make sure people know the restrictions on that. Dave, you had a question?
Yeah, you answered that. I was going to ask, along with the signs for the fair, the equine sign or anything else you might think we should have year round?
Yeah. Because anywhere that people are bringing horses onto your property, I'd have that sign there. And usually when I go by a county fair facility, I'm looking for that sign. Not too long ago, was it you entered Shane, and I was at their facility, and I drove around, and sure enough, right there on the door, before you could even get into the facility, was exactly the sign they needed to have. So that's what you want to have, because that'll save you. And then just general warning signs, again, just that there are inherent risks with here at the fair, and and what are the people there for the fair? It's recreation, right? And government has immunity for recreational activities. Actually, in the state of Utah, everyone has recreational immunity. If you own land, if you've got a big area of land there in Sevier County, and you just let people come in four-wheel and snowmobile on your land, if they get injured, they cannot sue you. As long as you didn't charge them to be on that land, they cannot sue you for recreating on your property. So people should know that. So unless you created the hazard, you should be, and we're very negligent in the way you created a hazard, you should be in good shape. And that's why, Corby, you talked about how much money we spend on defending claims. That's why we don't settle claims, because you're not negligent. You did things the way you were supposed to. So we just don't pay people when the county didn't do anything wrong. Other questions or issues or problems that you're having that you think others might have some ideas on as you're planning for your fair this year?
What happens when you have like a no alcohol policy and yet nobody wants to enforce it, and so it happens and nothing's happened at our facility, but the day's coming when somebody's going to get injured because of that, we end up in trouble.
Yeah, and I think with the alcohol policy, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's the same with any policy. Better to not have a policy at all than a policy you don't enforce and monitor. Because if you just don't have a policy and people are drinking at the fair, that's one thing. But when you say we're not allowing people to drink at the fair, and now someone gets intoxicated at the fair and there's a problem, courts are going to wonder why you have a policy and you don't enforce it. So I think that, and the extent to which your policy is, again, some fairs don't allow any alcohol at all. If it's on your breath, you're going to be asked. You're supposed to be sent away. Others, it's just a matter of it's not going to be sold or provided at the fair. But in the last couple of years, it seems like each year I get a call from a county that, well, we're finally buckling in and we're going to start selling alcohol at the fair this year. And again, you just need to be careful with that. You need to make sure that whoever is actually selling, distributing at the fair has liquor liability insurance, because a regular policy doesn't cover the sale or distribution of alcohol. So you've got to make sure that they've got that particular policy. But yeah, I review that very closely with your governing body that we shouldn't have a policy if we're not going to enforce it.
If they're gonna go to the alcohol, if you're trying to get a permit, you need to check on the regulations, because we do allow beer selling, but we don't allow alcohol beer, which is part of the policy. Well, we teach our vendors out too. But there's a lot more regulation and numbers watching crowd.
Right, yes. Yeah, but with any new operations, but yeah, particularly with starting to distribute alcohol, you want to make sure you're following all the regulations.
It's gotten harder to get that permit for this small event.
Yes. Yeah.
On that same subject, is there a difference between policy and an ordinance? Like, so we are a non-alcoholic facility, but I think there's some people argue that it's just an ordinance, not policy, or it's vice versa.
Yeah, well, the ordinance is more, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but an ordinance is the law. A policy is just, that's your guideline. I mean, that's the way you are operating is your policy. But an ordinance, that's the law.
So if it is our policy and we're not calling the sheriff's office to come take their issues, take our signs down, is that?
Again, you're going to be called into question so somebody who's been drinking now and they've had too much and they end up swinging their arms around. My daughter was recently at one of the open concerts in Salt Lake City, and this guy came up and he was plastered and flailing his arms around dancing, hits her in the mouth, busts her tooth. Now, I wanted to. I could look and see, okay, Salt Lake City, you had signs all around that area saying no alcohol on the premises, and this guy's in there with a flask, and he's plastered. You're paying for my daughter's tooth. I'm suing you. And I'm going to have a better chance of winning that case for the fact that the judge is going to say, well, you had a policy, Salt Lake City, and you didn't follow it. That's the negligence that you've got. But without a policy and you're saying, hey, we don't say anything about whether or not people are drinking or not on premises. So now you're not violating your own policy. It's going to be that's one less thing for Corby to have to try and defend. Why weren't you following your own policy? The best answer would be enforce your policy. Joanne, would you ask?
We just only have one vendor that sells alcohol, and it's the American Legion. And it's not that we're keeping other vendors out, it's just that other vendors are not interested in competing with American Legion. And we have a specific space for them if they want to not be in the grandstands and stuff. They can drink while they're in the grandstands and stuff, but they cannot take it outside of the fence lines. And we have security as they're going in and as they're going out. And we have signs up that say that we're going to search their bags to see if they're bringing it in, because that's not allowed. And so the people who drink the beer and stuff, if they're not done drinking whatever they have to hurry and drink it before they can leave the premises. So, and the Sheriff's Department is so good about helping us with that. They're just totally awesome. Them and the search and rescue has just been a lifesaver for us with that kind of a thing. And the American enforce all the rules and stuff, and it's made it a better experience than it used to be. So,
And when you say used to be, did you
It
used
was
to
a
prohibit it?
it was just a free-for-all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that might be what some of the counties are finding, is that the counties that have a beer garden, have it very controlled, that they have fewer problems than the counties that say no alcohol at all, but it's getting there, but they don't have it controlled at all.
Well, I
So
think
it's
one
a
of
good,
the
it's a big
reasons why
policy question.
our commissioners, at the time that they gave the American Legion permission to come in, was because they're doing it for a good cause. And I think that that's one of the reasons why there's no competition, because the money they bring in is for girls and boys league. It's not for themselves. And so I don't know, I think that makes a difference in how vendors see things.
So I have another question, and so like we have quite a few teen ropings up there, and when they use the garbage cans, they fill them full of beer cans. If they leave there and hit a car on the way home, is the county involved in that at any time? I mean, they got plastered, they dripped down their drink in there at the fairgrounds, they got in their vehicle and drove home. So are we liable or in trouble? They brought their own alcohol.
So they brought their own alcohol onto your premises, they drank it there, they leave, they get in an automobile accident. That again, Jan, is where if you have a policy that says no alcohol on our grounds, and you're finding beer cans in the trash cans, and you're not doing more to keep the beer out of the fairgrounds, that's what's going to get you in trouble, that you've got a policy that you don't allow it and you're not enforcing it. If you just didn't have a policy, the fact that they got drunk on your property would be a lot easier for us to defend. It sounds odd, but it's the way it works.
And if it's a fatality, no matter what, they're going to name the county, just because they're going to name anyone that's even slightly involved. Because they know that the auto policy is going to have, maybe 100,000 coverage. So even if you did everything right, they'll still probably throw the county in there. We have one from Lake Powell where the guy was drunk on a boat, knocked his kid off the front, ran him over and split his kid in half. They just named the county just because it was in the county. So we still have to try to get the county out.
So with our beer garden, our sheriffs are quite involved with it, and then our city police as well. And the city police will know what events, and they will be out going around the grounds, and they'll pick up several of our members' minds.
Okay.
But they're there protecting from those accidents, as they're leaving the premises.
Right. Yeah, because now I don't know what additional training or change in training they'll be doing for those that get their handler's permits for alcohol. But now with the level at .05, I mean,
Yeah.
you even serve them too.
We have the Knights of Columbus doing ours here, and they've done it for years. So it's the garden part and the number of employees you have to have per spectators. That's been one of the issues for us, that you're not used to catch up.
Yeah.
But our local law enforcement has been very good at kind of protecting outside of the garden. And they don't allow the fights. Okay, well, she's had too much, we better escort him.
But certainly the person who is going to be most liable in that situation is always the person who's actually serving. So when you have the Legion come in and they have the beer garden, much better situation than with a couple of counties where it's actually the county that's running the tent. That with the county employees and boy, that's where you really have created a lot of extra liability. Rather than having someone that's in the business of selling and serving alcohol do it, and just have them as a vendor.
So
discuss briefly what county liability is based on DABC guidelines for private events. And private event can bring their own alcohol in, can't charge for it, yada, yada, yada. What then is county liability in a situation like that?
Well, so when you have an event, like you're going to have a retirement party at the county, and so you're going to have some wine at the retirement party, and it's just your people, just county employees coming for this retirement party, and that is a different type of liquor liability. That's called host liquor liability. It's not the normal. You're not, because you're not in the business of selling and distributing alcohol. And that's not what you're doing there. You just have alcohol available. So the liability is much less in that situation. And in most cases, most liability policies automatically cover that host liquor liability, which we intend to as well. So in that situation, where you're not having the general public come in and you're not selling the liquor, you just have some liquor available for a party, that's covered. Because you don't have as much liability as when you're selling alcohol.
In that same scenario, instead of it being county employees, say it's somebody who's rented one of our facilities and they're doing the exact same thing. What is the
You
liability?
want to make sure that they have an endorsement on their policy for host liquor liability. But they wouldn't need to have the liquor liability unless, again, if their event is one where they're asking the general public to come in and they're going to sell them liquor while they're at their event. Now they need full liquor liability. But if it's whatever type of party it is or a wedding in your event center, that they need the host liquor liability.
So if you're feeling then that in the scenario that you use, that an event coming in, private event, guest list, that kind of thing, under DABC guidelines, that's pretty easy to defend from a county and your point of view as opposed to some of the other scenarios.
Much easier.
So we have an agreement to use the facility, if we put some kind of wording in there that say for instance, whoever does host the team meeting or puts it on, they have to sign an agreement to use it. In there it has it, they are responsible for having an alcohol free, then they puts it back on whoever's putting the team on or the Mexican party. If we put that wordage in there, in their agreement.
You'll want to make sure, because you should have on your applications for use of the facility, will there be alcohol?
Yes.
Right, because even the event, the person who's holding the event, they may say, well, no, that's not our intent. We don't want people bringing liquor, but they do anyway. But that's different than when, oh no, yeah, we're gonna have, it's a wine and cheese tasting event, and so yeah, we're gonna have alcohol there. Okay, so is it open to the public, and are you charging for it? Because then I want to see that you have full liquor liability. But if it's your family and you're just going to have alcohol there, but you're not charging for it, you're going to, you have wine and champagne for toasting. That you just need to make sure you have host liquor liability for. Now, a lot of people aren't going to have any of that because they don't have a commercial liability policy. So they're going to go and buy a special events policy to meet your requirements. And when Marty goes online and looks at those special event policies that are for sale online, and even on those of you who have set up TULIP programs, they all ask the question, will there be alcohol? And if you check that box, they're going to add the charge and the endorsement for liquor liability. So it's there, it's available, they can buy it easily enough and make sure that they have it. You'll just want to make sure that you're requiring it in your applications and rental agreements, and that you are checking for it when you look at their certificate if you get one from them. sick from an animal.
Well, not just someone got sick from an animal, but an animal got sick. Like when the equine herpes was going around.
We get anything like that?
We had a situation where we had a trail race that was coming up from an area where they had an outbreak of equine herpes, and we were their next stop. And we ended up consulting some vets and talking to groups and not having them come, because it was within the indication period for that disease. And it wasn't that it was going to affect people, but it was very difficult between horses, and we had a lot of horses that bore them, so we didn't want that.
Yeah.
But I can't say that that's happening all the time. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, because the one animal case that we had a while back was a gentleman suing the county. I can't recall what it was that the county was doing that put his bull in a position where there's a lot of dust. But his claim was his bull died because of all the dust the county stirred up. And his bull was worth a lot of money. A lot of money. So that is something that I'm glad that you took some precautions there, because some of those horses and other animals can be very, very costly, financially and potentially so too. Dave?
How liability would take on a dog park? Public dog park?
Again, I don't know, you know, there's the argument that, well, people are bringing their dogs on the county property anyway, but now you've created a situation where you're inviting them to bring their dogs to a specific area. So the thing that works for us with dog parks here in Utah, Dave, is that we have a strict liability law when it comes to owning dogs, that if your dog bites another person, you are strictly liable for that. You don't get to defend it anyway. Well, he was taunting him, he was teasing him, doesn't matter. If your dog bites somebody else, you are liable. So because they know that the owner is liable, it makes it a little tougher to push any of that liability onto a third party. Well, yeah, but my dog may bit you, but he wouldn't have bit you if I wouldn't have been here at the county dog park. The amount that increases the liability, at least again, you have it in a controlled environment where you can put up some signs that, you know, just beware of other people's dogs, keep your dog on a leash, you know, whatever, you know, maybe even a warning that there is strict liability for dogs, so that people are aware that if they let their dog get out of control, they're on the hook for that. But that's one of those things that recognize the reason why counties are creating those dog parks, and it's a public service that we just need to accept that there is some liability and deal with it.
So going along with the dog, we had something happen last year that we've never had before, but you know, people, sometimes their dogs are just like people. And they had these two big dogs that they brought to the rodeo. And we had a lot of complaints, but we don't have a policy in place that no dogs can take up a bleacher seat. We've never had to deal with that before. So, but if those dogs would have gone crazy, you know, like during a fireworks show and something had hurt somebody, would we have been liable if it's the dog owner strictly liable because we let them in because we don't have a policy, or do you need to have a sign saying no dogs in the bleachers? Unless service dogs don't have a permit.
I think defending you for the fact that you let people bring their dogs, because what kind of dogs do you have to let in? Service
They were
animals,
big
right?
dogs.
I mean, you have to let in a service animal anyway, so you're going to have some animals everywhere and anywhere. So at that point,
I don't know that. We took out some of our seats.
yeah, that I know that's an issue that, you know, are you selling a ticket per person, or are you selling a ticket for a space? If you're selling a ticket for a space, I think you're asking for a ticket for the dog that's going to sit in a chair. as far as just saying no dogs, I think to let people know that you are responsible for your animal in the state of Utah, because again, that's one area. It starts getting dicey as soon as you start asking them about why do they have their animal with them, because there are those out there that are ready to file that discrimination lawsuit because, yes, it's a service animal, but I shouldn't have to explain my condition that requires me to have a service animal, and so you were discriminating against me because of my disability.
So maybe your suggestion would be, okay, well, they're taking up this much money, you've got to have a ticket, but not saying you can't have
I think the ticket sale booth should say that you need to buy a ticket for every chair that you're going to space, every space that you're going to occupy. So whether it's an animal or car seat, yes, anything like that. That's a space that you could have otherwise gotten a ticket for. They need to buy it. So. Everybody's good with all the volunteers this year?
What's the liability of video cameras, like in our barns and our buildings? So we charge user fees every year at our barns and our facilities to ride and stuff, and there's a lot of people that go in without fees and they get it. Just want to kind of control it more. Is there a way to put a camera out there, or is that not being video on the our building for trespassing, right? I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean, to have a policy on whether or not you can video record certain things in certain areas, I think is reasonable. Again, it is your property. I'm not sure what your concern would be with them videotaping.
Just to investigate the building and not being basically.
Oh, so you're talking about you
Yeah.
putting up video surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't let people do it and don't pay.
yeah.
That's not fair to the others to be down on that.
No, I think that's great.
Makes it better than anytime we out on the sheriff.
Having that video surveillance is great for a couple things, like you say, you get to monitor people are paying, speaking and things like that.
And following the rules, which we can do.
Yeah, if they're bringing in contraband of any type, and when the person makes the claim that they fell down and got significantly injured, now we've got the video to show that they did this. Lay down. We see that from time to time.
Do you have to have a sign saying that you have a refrigerated camera?
You don't have to, and again, that's a policy decision. I'm getting from the guy that kind of
Sheriff's our property, you want to secure there, is that where you get security out? Now, if you can indicate insurance, put signs up saying, premises under video surveillance, then all of a sudden, you may hurt people.
because if you want it to be to curtail that type of activity, sign's probably going to do as much as the video cameras. If they never see the video camera, they're still going to act bad actors. They see the sign.
You'd be surprised how often you get video systems. You may have one or two cameras, or actual cameras, but it's look like a camera, because the appearance is security. It's really the security.
But a general sign like a gate that to take care of it all. That by entering, you understand that you may be under videos surveillance, that you may be your photo may be taken by the county or others, and that you're agreeing to have your image shown by entering the fairgrounds, and then you take care of it. Not only for you, but for that question about other people taking a picture. You got tomorrow too? You again? We get to skip on a nice schedule session tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we feed it today.
Shorter version than this.
We'll skip that. Something I didn't like.
So I hope we get some important topics. The security events. Alex and I both did about 20 minutes on that booklet online that you talked about with the DOJs. Oh, this is really cool. And how do you and I boil down a 20-page document presentation? We had to call over and say, we're happy to send somebody. So that was really good. And with the coronavirus growing and affecting my 401k the way it is, and I know I think the very first call that Jamie ever made was a call saying, do I have to shut down my fair because of this avian flu thing? It was one of the flus several years back, a long time ago. She was real concerned about, can I have a fair with this flu thing going around? People dying. It's a good question. So, the map doctor called me down at this point. It isn't a big deal at this point, but it could get to be a big deal. We just never know when they're going to pop up. So, we had the guy from one of the health departments last year. That's a great contact to make sure that they're really involved with your fair. Right from the start. So. Well, great. Well, everybody have a safe trip. Thank you for attending. Please, if you have any topics that you'd like us to discuss next year, let Alice know, because it's a struggle. There's only so much to spare events, and again, yes, we want to talk about risk, but we're open to discussing any issues that you guys would like to talk about that will help you better manage your fairs. So let us know, and we'll get it on the agenda for next week. Thank you.